Because once you find that, it puts you in your power place. See, if you know what your life work is, I encourage you to start working on it. If you can't do it all at one time, do just a little bit of it. And if you don't know what it is that you showed up to do, if you don't know why you're here, I encourage you to find out what your purpose is here. What is the meaning of your life? What will be different? Have you ever asked yourself that question? I've done that. I remember coming from a friend of mine's funeral, and I was reflecting on how much time I had left. And I went for a walk in a park thinking about this guy whose life was so promising. And I mean, he wasn't an old guy. He was quite young, in fact. And I thought about all of the things that he said he was going to do, and he never got a chance to do those things. And I started thinking about my own life and how much time I had left to do the things that I would like to do. And at that time, I wasn't sure what my life purpose was, what my life's work was. I wasn't sure about it at that time. And I thought about it quite a lot. I had some idea, but I wasn't convinced, and I don't think I felt worthy. I didn't believe that it could be me to do this kind of work that I'm doing right now. And I say to you that if you begin to take a conscious effort to find out what it is that you're supposed to do, I say that it can literally save your life. It's about a guy who was going to work every day. It was very depressing. I mean, when you see it, I mean, the photography is very dingy looking and gray and very dim lighting, and the people are going in looking drab, doing the same old thing every day in the same old way. Some of you work with people like that. There are faces that you wish you never ever saw. Am I right? I mean, if you never saw them again, it would be too soon. Now, am I right? I'm going right, all right? So this is what was going on. This guy was going into this job where it was a dead-end job. He wasn't happy. He was miserable. And many of us can identify with that. He knew that he was capable of doing more, but he had really given up on himself. He had really sold himself out. Yeah, some of us have done that. He made a trade-off. For whatever reason, he decided to do this. That's why we can identify with it. And the volcano is symbolic of the challenges that we invariably face in life, of the problems that many of us run away from handling. And he had to handle this. And how did he come in contact with this volcano? Well, what happened was he was going to this doctor constantly. He was a hypochondriac because he wasn't living his purpose. His dream had not found his life work.
It's for sale.
Most people's will
is for sale.
To win is for sale.
They can be bought. I can't be bought. So if we give you most people, if we gave you just enough money, if there's a certain dollar amount, you'd stop working hard.
Wow,
we give you a title,
that.
you'd stop working hard. We give you a car or a plane or a house.
Dude, that's the book, bro. That's the book.
Is that the book? Yeah, that might be the book.
That is the book. Your will to win is for sale.
That's right. And I decided once I realized that, because I watch it happen with people in their body and their finances and their family and their faith, whatever it is, I'm not for sale. Mm-hmm. So there isn't a place you're going to buy me. You can't get me. There's not a stop, a place, a destination where you're going to get me to relent, to quit. I want to improve. That doesn't mean I don't struggle with my motivation from time to time. Doesn't mean I don't get confused or down. Of course I do, but I'm not for sale. You can't buy me. And you know this too. We see friends of ours, even guys in their 60s, said they sold their company for blah, 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 and now they golf 9 days a week or whatever. You know, that's fun, but they're for sale. They were bought. You were bought. You were for sale. I'm not for sale.
You got excited about it. So this is what's next for me now. I want this. You may have dreamed about it, thought about it, talked about it. But when you focus on something continuously, something magical happens. You get insights, don't you? You overhear a conversation, you hear something you wouldn't have heard if you didn't have that outcome or goal that you wanted so badly.
If you have a specific skill set or talent that just immediately propels you to the top, you want to follow that. When you find something you're good at, go for it. And I also always say it's not about passion. Everybody's got passion for something. Right? Don't follow your passions, follow your efforts. Because people say, I was passionate to play baseball. I was passionate to play basketball. Doesn't mean all of a sudden I was going to be good enough. But I found myself being really curious about business, being really curious about technology. And that curiosity is really what drove me. And I think, particularly if you're young today, curiosity is great. Always learning and trying to find new things and being curious about new things. Because that's what leads you to that path. Trying to figure out in advance, that's hard because you don't know what you don't know.
what is the other thing that kills success? All right. And it is this mentality, guys, especially for you guys who are employees looking to create value amongst yourselves within a company. And some business owners do this too, believe it or not. But they have the mentality that they're going to show up, they're going to put in their time, they're going to do the bare minimum, okay, of what is expected of them and what they are paid for, okay? So there's a difference here that I want to delineate for you guys, all right? There are people who show up to work and hide in the corner and don't do shit and expect to keep their job. Then there are people who show up to work, put in the effort, do what they're paid to do, and then go home and talk about how great of a employee or an asset they are to the company. All right, guys, look, newsflash. You are paid to do that shit. You cannot come to work and expect to do what you are paid to do and expect to become an extremely valuable, extremely important, extremely appreciated asset to a company, especially a growing company that is moving forward. Guess what? You're going to have to do more. And nobody likes to hear that shit because they think, oh, that's more work. Well, hey, look at it this way. What you do and what you're expected to do pays the bills. What you do on top of that and the investments you make at home in reading, personal development, extra shit that you could bring to the company, ideas, the extra things, that's an investment in your future. All right. So you have what pays the bills now, and then you have what's going to pay the bills 20 years from now. All right. And you have to think about that now so that in 20 years from now, you're not going back and saying, man, I wish I would have done that. Because that's something that so many young people think. They they got their $400 a month apartment. They go out on the weekends. They've got wine, they've got beer, they've got a little weed, they smoke it, and they think they got life made. And the reality is dude, you do not have life made, because if you don't put in the extra shit on top of what is expected and what you're paid to do, you're going to be doing that same shit when you're 40. Because the myth that life is going to automatically manifest this whatever dream that it is you have is not going to happen. You're not going to flip the switch at 30 years old and have the big house, nice cars, and a fat bank account just because you wished it. You got to put in the work now, and that work compounds and accumulates and puts you in a position to have that opportunity when you are of that age. If you guys are 20 years old and you're saying, oh, this guy's old and he's blah, 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 I'm talking out of experience. This doesn't just happen. So many of you young think that this just happens. You think, I'm going to show up, I'm going to put in my time, and then I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to be balling like Rick Ross, and all these. And that ain't what happens. You know what's likely going to happen with that attitude? You're going to be 37 years old, living in your mom's basement, yelling at her for some meatloaf. That's what's going to happen. All right? So guys, you've got to do more. You've got to become valuable. You've got to understand that what you get paid to do is the minimum. And everything on top of that is your investment in your future.